Welcome to part 2 of our basic hunting strategy show. We're going to cover western bow hunting this week with spot and stalk techniques, as well as playing the wind and understanding thermals. This week we've got Chad Brown with us. Chad works in our research and development department here at Bowtech, and he's actually a seasoned elk hunter and blacktail hunter here on the West Coast. So Chad's going to share with us some basic tips and techniques that he's found to be helpful in the field. So Chad, why don't you just give us a rundown, what should we do, what shouldn't we do, and kind of what do you look for when you're out elk hunting?
Thanks, Dick. Well, first thing that I look for before I set out to where I want to get to, the ridge lines. I want to know what the wind direction is. Most importantly, I believe that the wind direction will determine your success. In the morning, typically over here in the West Coast, the wind is going down in the AM and up in the PM. So a lot of times, if I know an area that I want to get to, I'm going to see in the morning, if I'm hunting down, I'm going to have to skirt a big area typically to hunt where I want to get to.
So you're saying that wind's actually moving down the mountain in the morning?
Yes.
And in the afternoon it comes and rises back up, so it's pushing your scent that direction?
Predominantly that's been what I find out. I'm constantly checking my wind, some type of a wind indicator, wherever I'm going. I mean, if just walking a little bit, squeezing that thing, because the wind does shift in the afternoon, but those are the predominant movements of the wind, morning and evening. An elk, typically, if it sees you or hears you, it's not as big a deal as it is the wind. Game over. If they smell you, they're gone. But you can move through the woods, making noise, periodically using a cow call, which will, make them think, oh, it's another elk. Hunting big game on the West Coast, specifically elk, is a challenge, but there are a lot of benefits to hunting elk compared to deer. Part of that is that they travel in herds, so they leave significant sign by track that you can actually recognize that, wow, something just came through this area. Spot and stalk predominantly is the way that we hunt on the West Coast. That would be also with the binoculars, being able to spot the animal at a distance. But predominantly, if you can find track, fresh sign, that's a great start for hunting elk. The methods that you use to successfully hunt elk specifically, again, as I stated, vary. You don't necessarily have to be quiet and stealthy. Again, they're loud animals. You can make noise moving through the woods. They're going to think you're another elk. So with that, the methods with which you employ to try to have success in the field really depends on the situation. If the elk's bedded, if they're feeding to you, you want to stay set. You don't want to move. If a bull's bugling, you may want to be aggressive and move forward and get in a position to get a shot. It really depends on the situation, the circumstances, and all that comes through just spending time in the field, and you're going to make mistakes. Many times you'll come back and you'll be like, why didn't I do this, or why didn't I do that? That's part of the learning that as you hunt longer, you're in the field more, you're gonna figure out those things, and then eventually that day's gonna come when it's all put together and you're gonna have success.
Thanks again for watching, and hopefully you picked up some new tips and techniques for hunting out west. Remember, keep those questions coming on Facebook so we can answer them for you. I'm Nick at Bowtech. We'll see you next week right here on Beyond the Bow.